that person was able to put me in a cocoon of love and protection while slowly poisoning me. That's what you have to understand. If you don't love yourself, other people are able to see that. That's why I'm able to see when other people don't love themselves. It's easy. Once you love yourself, it's easy to see that person is looking for validation in other people. That person is hurt. And as someone who can see that, others can see it too. And that's why you get into abusive relationship, because other people are able to see the wounds you have on yourself. And a lot of people, society has told you, open your heart and show people the wounds. Let everyone see who you are. Be open, right? And when you are open, you're able to see the wounds of your heart, the mushiness of the heart, the rotten parts of the heart. You're able to see what should not be shown to other people, but it is shown. It is. Right? You should not show it, but you do, because that's what people tell you to do. Be open. Don't be secretive. What do you have to hide? When you are secretive, when you hide parts of yourself, it means you are distrustful. But that actually does not mean you are distrustful. It means you are protecting yourself from harmful folks. Because why does everyone need to know who you are? But also, it goes to the other part. Because if you love yourself, you are able to be open with some parts, because you don't need everyone to know who you are. But you're able, when you are going to be open, you're able to show that openness to other people and say, hey, this is who I am, and I'm sharing this not because I am wounded. I am sharing this because I am healed, and you cannot use this to hurt me any longer. That is when you love yourself. When you don't love yourself, and most people don't, when you don't love yourself and you share those parts of yourself, you're being vulnerable, but you're also allowing people who can tell you are not healed to invade your soul. They're able to hurt you because they know you are not healed. And I can use this to my advantage to hurt you further and to wrap you in a cocoon of love while also poisoning you slowly. Do you understand? That is why you have to be alone in this process of loving yourself. And I truly believe that you cannot be in a relationship, a romantic relationship, while trying to love yourself, unless you both are in the process of loving yourselves, right? Your own personal journeys of loving yourself. Because if one partner is trying to better themselves and love themselves, and the other partner is stuck, staying in their unloved, unself-loved version, when that person who is trying to love themselves, because loving yourself means respecting yourself, and when you respect yourself, what do? You put up boundaries, right? So if two people came in a relationship not loving themselves, and then one person goes on another path of loving themselves, and the other person is stuck on the same path they both were on in the beginning, they're going to say, hey, where are you going? We're on this path together, we're on this journey together. And you can say, hey, you can come with me. You can come with me and be on this journey of self-love with me, or I have to leave you behind. Do you understand? So you have to do this alone, or you will have to leave this person behind. But this journey will always have to take place alone. This is a journey of solitude. And you can have people in your life, but a lot of the time you will have to leave most people behind, because either if they're your family, you will have to say, you are the reason why I did not love myself. And you can either help for them to open their eyes, for them in order for them to be able to go on this journey of self-love, alone also, but with you, and say, hey, I too want to love myself. You can maybe help them with resources to understand how they can help themselves. But this is a journey of solitude. You have to go through this alone. This is something you have to go through alone. And even if you have like a therapist, this is still a journey of solitude. This is still something you do alone. Because there are some parts of yourself you will never share with anybody. And a lot of people don't realize that. There are parts of yourself that even a therapist will never know. You will keep that part to yourself. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing to keep some parts to yourself. You just have to have the proper tools to be able to decode what you have to decode. And that's what a therapist is there for, to help you have the proper tools to decode. But you have to do the hard part. You can slice yourself open and show a therapist all the parts of yourself, and they can identify every part. But who has to actually do the work? You have to do the work. And loving yourself is a process of every day. You have to love yourself intentionally every single day. It is not something you do once and then you never have to do it again. No, it's an every single day thing. Until you die, you have to intentionally love yourself. And in the beginning, it will be exhausting. You'll be like, I don't want to do it anymore. But the further along you go, the more you'll say, I love to love myself and I can't wait to love myself even more today. Do you understand? So, when you are in a relationship, you will have to put up boundaries and say, hey, I know I allowed you to treat me this way. I know I allowed you to talk to me this way, but I will not allow it further. And either that person has to accept it and say, okay. And they have to also, because the thing is, they will always have to go through a journey of self-love if they accept your boundaries. Because they have to ask themselves, why do I deem it acceptable to treat people this way, to talk to people this way? Why? And they will have to open the door of what? Self-love. Yes, it's a door you have to open. It's a door you have to open every single day. And it's an exhausting door to open. Do you understand? You have to open that door. You have to say, I will love myself. And the thing is, the only way to love other people is through the love you have for yourself. And people do not understand that. People think I can love other people without loving myself, but you cannot. Because the reason why you quote unquote love somebody else is because of the benefits you get from loving them. Right? So, you are able, from the love you have for other people, you are able to get benefits. What are those benefits? You get someone in your life. You get someone who loves you. Well, quote unquote loves you. AKA, they accept you. Sometimes. So it really depends. They are in your orbit. You get that person in your orbit. You get company. You get someone to laugh with. Right? When you respect somebody, they allow you in their life, right? If you have a friend who never respects your time, you're not going to want to be with their friend anymore, because you're going to build resentment towards that person. You're going to say, you know what, I'm done. And either you're going to phase them out quietly because you don't like confrontation, because what? You don't love yourself. Because if you don't like confrontation, you do not love yourself. And that will be talked about later. Perhaps in this video, perhaps in another video, perhaps when I feel like it, whatever, right? So you're going to either phase them out quietly, or you're going to say, I want the confrontation. And by the way, confrontation too can be an indication of you don't love yourself. Both can be true, right? So you can say, I'm going to explode, and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm done being your friend. Because the way you confront people is an indication of how much you love yourself. Because if you can come to someone and say, hey, the fact that you're always late, the fact that you do not respect my time is very rude. That is an indication of you loving yourself. But when you build resentment and you allow things to fester, and it has been 54 times that they have disrespected your time, and then on the 55th time you say, enough is enough. I am tired of the way you treat me, and you blow up and you make it a bigger thing than it had to be. Because if you first talked about it the first time it happened, this wouldn't have had to go on for 54 times or 55 times, right? It could have been handled and dealt with the first time, but you didn't allow that. Do you understand? But when someone has disrespected you, you do not want them to be in your life anymore. So, you respect other people's time because you do not want them to not be in your life. You say, I want you in my life. I want company. I want community. I want people. I do not want to be alone, because being alone is scary. Because being alone is scary. Because when you're alone, you have to confront those demons. You have to confront yourself. And you have to say, self, these parts of me I do not like. And you have to confront those parts. So you know what? Instead of confronting those parts, you have people in your life. Or you distract yourself with things. With social media. With different types of media. That's what you do. You distract yourself. When you're able to distract yourself with friends, with media, with perhaps substances, you do not have to confront yourself. So, the only reason why you quote unquote love other people is because you're trying to distract yourself. You do not actually love them, because the only way to love is to love through yourself. You have to love yourself first to be able to love somebody. Do you understand? Do you understand? So, in order to love, you have to love yourself first. And people cannot do that. You know why? Because it's scary. To love yourself is to respect yourself, to respect your boundaries. And when you're in a relationship, if you don't love yourself at first and you get into that relationship was built off of your lack of love for yourself. And when you try to love yourself in a relationship that is built off of the lack of love you have for yourself, what do you have now? You either have to build a new relationship, but how are you supposed to build a new relationship when you're discovering new things about yourself every single day? Because you don't know yourself in the beginning of loving yourself. This is a new baby. This is a baby. You're a baby now. The moment you decide I'm going to love myself, you transform into a baby. Now you're a baby. You don't know anything. You're learning how to use your fingers. You're learning how to use your toes. You're learning how to crawl. You're learning how to walk. You're learning how to speak. You're learning how to think. You're learning new things. Do you understand? So when you're in a relationship that's built off of the lack of love for yourself, you now have to build a new relationship. But it's going to be too difficult. You're always going to be like, actually, new boundary, actually, new boundary, actually, new boundary. And frankly, people are going to get sick of it. Okay, like, what? You're switching up on me now. Because I used to be able to talk to you a certain way, but now I can't talk to you that way. Now we're having argument after argument every single day. It's exhausting. I can't do it anymore. I'm too exhausted. Do you understand? When you build a relationship off of lack of love you have for yourself, and you try to build in that new relationship on the love you have for yourself, it will put too much strain on that relationship. Especially if that partner is saying, I do not want to love you differently now. I do not want to treat you differently. I like the way you were before. How dare you change? Now, if that person is not on the journey of love with you, okay, the journey of loving yourself alongside you, they will become insecure, jealous, and envious of you. They will say, how dare you change? How dare you try to better yourself? How dare you? I disapprove of this. You are not allowed. You are not allowed to love yourself because I do not love myself. And what you are doing is scary. I am scared of losing the version of you I had before. You are not allowed to change. You have to stay the same version of you that you were before. Do not change yourself. Do you understand? So either you have to be on the same page with that person and say, we are going to go on journeys of loving ourselves together, which frankly will still be hard. Even if two people in a relationship say, we're both going to start the journey of loving ourselves individually, it will still be very hard to maintain that relationship. Because what if you do not align? Do you understand? So frankly, you will still have to break up. Or you have the other version of if one person decides, I will love myself, I will go on this journey of loving myself, and the other person says, I like the way I am, I do not want to change, and you will not change either. In that case, you have to break up. So I have said, you have to go through this version of loving yourself. You have to go through this journey of loving yourself alone. Sorry, it has to happen alone. Regardless of what anybody thinks, it has to happen alone. And people say, the only version of unconditional love that exists is a mother and child. And that is wrong. That is wrong. It is not true. There is no unconditional love that happens in this world. Even the love you have for yourself is conditional. There is no such thing as unconditional love. Regardless of what everybody wants to believe, there is no unconditional love in this universe. Period. You could say the only unconditional love in this universe is the universe and yourself. Because the universe will always be there for you, regardless of what you believe in yourself, how you are with yourself. Because with the universe gives you whatever you want. No. That is not right. The universe does not give you whatever you want. The universe gives you whatever you are. Let me say that again. The universe gives you whatever you are. Do you understand? So, if you hate yourself, the universe will give you hate yourself. If you love yourself, the universe will give you love yourself. The universe will do whatever you say. It's just that a lot of you don't understand what you're saying. Do you understand what I am saying? The universe will give you whatever you are saying. It's just the fact that you don't understand what you are saying. You think if you say, I want love, that means the universe should give you love. No, the universe is going to give you, I want love. Do you understand? If you say, I want money, the universe is going to give you, I want money. The universe gives you what you are, not what you want. And could you say that's unconditional love from the universe? Perhaps. Perhaps not. But let's go back. Why do I say there is no unconditional love from a child to a mother? And I do say mother because people do say mothers, because people think that all mothers are this maternal creature that loves their baby no matter what. And that is the stupidest thing you could think, because that's not true. Even if a mother does love their child, quote unquote, if they do not love themselves, they will put that on the child, regardless of how they want to believe, what they want to believe. Even if you look at the relationship from the outside and you say, well, this is a good relationship. They treat them well. They treat them kindly. They give them whatever they want. If you, as a mother, hate yourself and say, ugh, I'm not good enough. Ugh, I could do better. I could do this. That will go on to your child. Because your child will hear you say that about yourself and say, maybe they're right about me too, because I'm like them. I'm similar to them. Maybe I can do better. Maybe I can do this. Your love for yourself is a reflection of the love you have for your child. If you talk to yourself disrespectfully, your child will hear that and disrespect themselves as a result of the disrespect you have for yourself. Do you understand? Do you understand? I hope you understand. When you talk to yourself in a mean manner, your child will talk to themselves in that same manner, because if it's acceptable for you to talk to yourself like that, then it's acceptable for me to talk to myself like that. And that means you do not love your child because you allow them to hear these things about you. Do you understand? And even if you don't say these things in front of your child, the way you carry yourself, the way you act, the way you dress a lot of the time is a result of the lack of love you have for yourself. Even if you dress well, you look amazing, that can still be a result of lack of love you have for yourself, because you think, I have to look good all the time, or I'm not good enough. I'm sloppy, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that. Do you understand? Do you understand? I hope you understand. So, every single thing you do needs to come from a place of love in order to love your child. Do you understand? The only way to love yourself, the only way to love your child is to love yourself. And the only way to love yourself is to take off your skin and look underneath. Bare your soul to yourself. Allow yourself to see the scars that you do not want to see. Allow yourself to cry and to grieve the trauma you've experienced. Allow yourself to say, oh my God, I did not love myself. Do you understand? Allow yourself to grieve what you did not know. Allow yourself to grieve. That is how you love yourself. By allowing yourself to have the emotions. And that's why I say the only way to love yourself is through solitude. Because it's going to be hard. It's going to be a journey. But this journey is worth going. This is going to be a lifelong journey, but I promise it is going to be fantastic. You will love it.